Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Friday, February 10th, 2012. There's a lot to cover, so let's get right into the charts today. I'm going to talk about the S&P 500 E-mini futures. You will see that they are trading lower by about 12 points at the moment, all the way down to 1336. Obviously, when the futures are trading lower, it means one thing, that the U.S. dollar index is trading higher. And here you can see the U.S. dollar index taking off to the upside. Now we'll have to watch once the opening bell rings at 9:30 to see if the dollar does pull back. That will help lift the futures back up and inflate the stock markets. But remember the relationship: dollar down, market up. Nothing has changed there, and then you'll see that in really that relationship fully intact this morning. So again, dollar is soaring higher. It's trading higher by 58 cents at the moment. That's a big move on the U.S. dollar index. And obviously, the S&P 500 E-mini futures trading lower by 12.5 points, and that's a big move down on the futures. So it's all about the dollar, inflation, deflation. Can the powers that be get the market to inflate higher? We're overdue for some kind of a pullback. The markets have really gone up in parabolic fashion since December 19th without any meaningful pullback. So we could be due here, but again, it's a Friday. A lot of times the dollar will sell off once the opening bell rings, and that will help lift the market up and bring it back up to not such a big down make it not such a big down day. So we'll have to watch this closely and see how it plays out. Now, a couple of other things I want to point out commodity-wise. First, we'll talk about gold. Gold is trading down by about 27 points today to around 17.16 per ounce. Take a look at the GLD this morning. You'll see the GLD is pretty sharply lower, trading around the 166 level. Yesterday, the GLD did close, I believe, at 168. So that's a pretty sizable drop in the GLD to start the day. Now, what you want to remember about GLD or any gold is simply if the dollar falls, this will get a bid. So keep that on your radar. But once again, gold is starting lower. Now, the stronger dollar is also causing oil to fall as well. So everybody knows we're paying close to $4 a gallon at the pump. Well, we'll get a little relief today once the dollar catches a bid. But here you can take a look at the USO this morning, and you can see the USO is trading down sharply, down to that 37.63 level. Closed yesterday at 38.33. So you're looking at a pretty decent little drop in oil this morning. Spot crude, I believe, is trading right around $98 a barrel. So we have a pretty good drop in oil, pretty good drop in gold, and a pretty good drop in the stock market as the inflation rally, gets a little bit of medicine here as a stronger dollar comes into play. So always remember, stronger dollar brings down commodities. Gold is synonymous with the market, and you can see gold trading down with it, and also oil is trading down with the stock market as well. Now, there's some news out of Greece this morning. You want to pay attention to this. I know everybody's saying Greece doesn't matter, all the talking heads in the media. It matters. It matters for one simple reason. If Greece defaults, it will spark these credit default swaps. And if that happens, that could be a domino effect, and it could cause a lot of selling in the European markets across the board. So when people say, oh, Greece is only the size of Rhode Island, it really doesn't matter, that's all BS. It matters in a big way. Because if these credit default swaps, they start to trigger, it could be lights out for the European Union as you know it. So again, Greece does matter. It's a big deal. It looks like there's a big strike going on in Greece. It also looks as if the leaders in Greece are not happy with the deal that they got for their second bailout, and they're threatening to defect. They're threatening to go back to leave the euro. So again, this is what it comes down to. If it wasn't important, the European Union would have let Greece default a long time ago. They don't really care about bondholders, but they don't want these credit default swaps to trigger, and that's the big deal. Okay, so you heard it here, and that's the honest truth. So again, it is a big deal, and we'll have to see how it plays out. Now, the problem with Greece is after it gets bailed out, Ireland's going to need to be bailed out again. Portugal's going to need to be bailed out again, and then obviously going to have Spain, Italy, Belgium, Lithuania, and the list goes on, and then France, and then ultimately down to Germany. So it is a big deal. The market's done a tremendous job of shaking it off, but nonetheless, looks like the euphoria is coming to an end. Okay, let's get back to some stocks that are in play this morning. you're going to see a few different stocks. We're going to start off with this True Religion. This is a jean maker. They make jeans. This stock is getting clipped. This is a strong gap as well, which tells us it could push lower. Watch $25 or appears of $25 as support, but you still got to be careful with this one because this is a strong gap down. But there's going to be some support there at 25 bucks. Could give you a small bounce, but be careful with this one. This is a strong gap lower. Let's take a look at one of my favorite stocks of all time. Ticker symbol is LYB. This is Lyondell Basel Industries. Stock is getting clipped this morning. There's going to be some support around 38.85. But if it starts to sell hard, you're going to have to really look much, much lower, down towards the 35 to 34.50 levels, okay? But this is also a strong gap down, so these things can go lower. And when you have these strong gaps, when I call it a strong gap, they can sell off a little bit sharper than you think. Okay, let's take a look at Nuance Communications. This stock makes that voice recognition system for the Apple iPhone. This stock is getting hit pretty sharply this morning, trading all the way down to 27. I wouldn't touch it right now. There's going to be a little bit of support, I guess around the 26.50 level, but watch for 25.80. Okay, that's the level you want to watch this stock. Will be pretty good support there. You can pick it up for a bounce. This is also a strong gap lower, so these things can break lower. Okay, when I say strong gap, they can go lower, and this is a strong gap lower. Okay, so what I mean by that is this is real selling pressure. It's not, you know, that make-believe market maker fake out. This is real selling pressure. Okay, so that's a strong gap down there as well. Let's take a look at LinkedIn because this one is trading up today. Here's LinkedIn having a pretty good pop this morning, trading all the way up to 84 bucks. Looking at the gap, it looks like it's a fairly decent gap on the upside. So, you know, let this thing go a little bit higher, but there's going to be resistance levels, I believe. Just trying to find the best spot here. But it's a strong gap, so this one's pretty strong today. Now, I'm going to say 85.27. There's going to be resistance there. I don't know how much of a pullback you'd get. It's a pretty strong gap. Then all the way up to 90, and then, you know, back to the October top, which is 95. I don't think it even gets there, but you never know with this stock because it does trade thin volume, and it could rally. So it's a strong stock. Be careful. I would not be really looking to short this one right away unless it gave me some kind of pattern on the intraday chart. Let's take a look at PBR. This is Petrobras. This stock is getting hit today, trading all the way down to $30.35. It closed at $32. What I'm seeing on this one right now is that it's going to have a little bit of, well, I should say decent support, probably around the 28.50, and then ultimately down to around the 26.50 level. So maybe 27. Stick with 26.50. But definitely a big drop there in this stock today, from 32 all the way down to 30.35, and it's a strong gap lower. So this one could sell further. Let's take a look at this Cobalt CIE. This stock has been on a tear lately. It's a really generally, you know, you want to remember with this stock, it's only picked up volume recently. Normally it's been a real light volume stock. You're trading up to 32. It's overcooked. It's overcooked. And it's a weak gap up. So this could be a fade candidate. The only problem with it, trying to short this thing that you have to take into consideration, I think it's a fade candidate, but it is a light volume stock. And, you know, sometimes those light volume stocks just won't have the institutions driving them lower, and they'll get away with it. So most times this stock trades around 600,000 shares. Recently it started to trade over the million mark, but it hasn't really been that popular of a stock since it really started to trade over a million since December. So be careful there, but this could be a fade candidate on this CIE. Let's take a look at ACI. This is Arch Coal. Arch Coal is trading down a little bit. Again, nothing great, nothing terrible there. I just don't see a lot of upside in this stock if it did reverse. And it is coming down lower to 14.90 today. Support for this thing going to be two levels. One is going to be around 14.65. Then you're going to have to look at 14 even number, and then after that, it's really back down to the lows. I'm going to say 13.25. So again, there's nothing great there on this one. It also had a bullish pattern, so this thing could come down further today. So watch, be careful there. There's a lot of weakness in the overall market. Now, the saving grace for the market today, maybe it's a Friday. And on Fridays, what happens is there's usually the volume will tail off after the first couple of hours. So that ultimately could help the market. And ultimately, please watch the U.S. dollar index once the market opens. If the dollar starts to pull back or gets any selling pressure in there, the markets will inflate and trade higher. Okay, so that's pretty much the pre-market news and views for today, everybody. Again, have a great weekend, great trading day, and I will see you all on Monday. Take care now.